Bill Swift from Swift Canoe here to show you a super canoe Keewaydin 15. This boat has been custom built for Ted in Maryland, and he wanted a super cool canoe to paddle around Chesapeake Bay, to take to the Adirondacks. He's going to come to Algonquin Park to pick it up and go on a canoe trip. So we're going to show you folks this absolute beautiful boat, and then you're going to meet Ted. So look at this. It's got the absolutely beautiful carbon Negra textreme finish. This boat is just gorgeous. It's got that Mona Lisa effect. When you walk by it, when it moves, it seems to move with you and follow you. And then let me turn it over. This has something super cool on it, and this is the first time we've done it to a two-tone bottom. This has our indigo kayak finish on the hull, and this is absolutely the most unique spray that we've done to a canoe to date. And when I first heard about it, I was a little skeptical about it, but I think it's super cool looking, and I want one of these now. Now, this particular boat, Ted also gets just decked out. It's got the black carbon Kevlar trim and the carbon fusion laminate, the carbon end caps, the carbon handles. He got the mount packages on the bow thwart and the stern thwart for fishing equipment, for camera equipment. It's got the adjustable carbon foot bar so he can get the precise angle to his legs that feel real comfortable to him. It's got the detachable carbon yoke that's super light and super cool looking. Check this out. This is beautiful. Then he also ordered the multi-height pod system so he could very quickly move the seat from the upper height to the lower height position. Check that out. A Keewaydin 15. Carbon Negra textreme with an indigo two-tone bottom, complete with the skid plates on it. This baby is an absolute beauty. Ooh la la, I want one. Ted, this is a beautiful boat.
Thank you, Bill.
Congratulations.
I love it. I love it.
So one of the cool parts of my job is the company's grown to the point where things start happening without me knowing. And I was at the factory this winter, and I saw this boat, and I was like, this is frickin' killer. and I've got to get to know the person who ordered it. So I called Ted up. We talked about it. We did the video that you just saw, and we're going to add on to it right now. Now, Ted, do you want to tell you're from Maryland and you've been paddling for a while?
I have. On and off, I've been paddling for probably 20 years total. I took a little bit of time off for business and family to get the kids old enough to paddle themselves. And so I've been enjoying it the past 5 years or so.
Now, you do both flat water, whitewater. You like all kinds of canoeing.
I do. I've whitewatered quite a bit. Nothing extreme up to class 2, low class 3. I use that to be able to get my kids involved and get them on the water. So they're avid whitewater kayakers now. And last year I convinced them to get in a canoe and to paddle some flat water. And so all of a sudden I needed another canoe.
Yeah, Ted, and you were telling me, like, you didn't know about Swift canoes. You were in the Adirondacks. Why don't you tell the folks that story? That's a good one.
So in the Adirondacks for I think the third time last year, and again this was right after my trip with my kids, and realized that they do enjoy paddling flat water also, and so I was in the market for another canoe. I had bought a smaller canoe that worked for the kids earlier last year, and then so on my last trip in the fall, I'm looking around and I see a lot of those same canoes. And my feeling was, well, I want a canoe that's going to be unique and not like the 30 or 40 of another brand of canoe that I saw in the Adirondacks. And I was on a portage and happened to see a Swift canoe on top of a vehicle. And I spent a good 15 minutes looking at it and decided I need to look into this canoe quite a bit more. And so then started a winter of research.
And you and I have talked a little bit. So Ted and I went for a great paddle last night on Source Lake in Algonquin. Went to my buddy's place, had dinner, and we've got to know each other a little bit. And I loved that you told me this story, how when you do research, when you want to buy something, why don't you tell the folks just how you like to do it?
I think I'm a little bit different. I like to research. I like to watch YouTube videos. I get opinions from other people, a wide variety of other people, and then I make my decision. And what I don't do is what a lot of people will do. We'll come up here and paddle every boat that you make. I make a remote decision based on my research. Then, I'm an avid motorcyclist also, because I do the same thing with motorcycles. Once I purchase that, like this canoe, then I adapt to the canoe. I'm not looking for the absolute perfect boat that matches me. I want to find the best possible boat that I've researched and that I believe is going to be a match for me. Then I adapt to the boat. I do this again, same thing with motorcycles, and it is very successful for me. And it's a great way how I prefer to buy my gear.
So you went through the process, then you contacted Brandon, our sales manager, and that was a good experience?
Brandon was great. Again, this boat was intended mostly for primary use of my tripping in the Adirondacks. And now up here, we'll say, but I also wanted it to be able to be handled by one of my kids. And so I was originally thinking a smaller boat. In talking with Brandon, he really helped me zero into the Keewaydin 15, and I think it's going to be absolutely perfect for all of my needs.
So normally we have a christening process in our videos, and Ted and I jumped the gun on it. We did have our Belgian ale last night.
We did.
On an island in Algonquin Park. But let's talk a little bit now. You talked about adapting to the purchase that you've made. You paddled this boat, and you look super comfortable in it. Why don't you tell the folks what you think now that you've paddled it and you've been in it a bit?
This boat is like having 3 boats. With the adjustability of the seat, the fact that I can kneel in it, I can sit in it, and those are just with a traditional canoe paddle, which has always been my preference. I'm a single-bladed paddler at heart, and then lowering the seat and using the kayak paddle it's like having a completely different boat, having a third boat. So in all those situations, the performance of it from a stability standpoint, from a handling, is fantastic. So this reminds me, I have a smaller boat, a 12-foot, very lightweight boat. This tends to handle and be as lively as that. I have a larger 17-foot tandem boat, and the stability in the wind of this boat matches that larger 17-foot boat. So I believe I've got the best of both worlds here with this build.
So last night, after we paddled, we had dinner at my buddy's island and our Belgian ales. And when we came back, you used the kayak paddle. So you had a different experience than with the canoe paddle. And how did you find it perform with the kayak paddle?
I loved it. I'm usually a single-bladed paddler, and with the kayak paddle, it was much faster. I think I'm going to be a convert to using the kayak paddle sometimes, and I may be back for another boat.
So guys, I always tell people this. For myself, I grew up at a canoe tripping camp, and I love canoeing, and to many canoeists, using a canoe paddle is the way you want to go. Using a kayak paddle is sacrilegious in the old days, but now I love using both. If it gets windy and wavy, there's no question. Using a kayak paddle makes it more efficient, and last night we got back quick when we wanted to. We wanted to beat the dark, and
Yep.
we did it.
Yep, we sure did. So the performance and being able to have that speed available at those times when you really want it is great. In the whitewater canoeing community, single-bladed canoeing community, which has been a lot of influence that I've had over the past several years, we like to give the kayakers a hard time, and we like to say that, well, the kayakers are twice the paddle and half the paddler. And so I have a lot of ego from that and from that experience over a couple of years, but now I think I need to let go of that ego a little bit. And
As we get older, we like using what's easier and more efficient.
yes, we do. We do. Which, speaking of, the lightness of this boat is incredible. And so as I age, and we were talking, as I age, the lightness and being able to portage and carry a boat is very important. And this reminds me of my 12-footer. It is incredibly light, incredibly easy to be able to carry.
Now, you ordered some really cool options. Let's talk about the build, Ted, and why you got those. So you got the beautiful Carbon and Negra Textreme, which is just a stunning finish. And why the Carbon and Negra Textreme?
Number one, the beauty. It's incredible to look at. It looks like it's painted on, and it's just fantastic. It's fantastic in the daylight, and then the weight.
And it's going to be strong. You're going to be able to hit things. So, Ted, let's turn it on the side. This
Okay.
boat is really unique, guys, and take a look at this. So, Ted, this is not a standard finish for our canoes. This is actually a kayak color. And let's tell the folks how you landed on this, because this is a super cool look.
Well, I knew my next canoe, I wanted it to be unique. And in spending a lot of time on your website and looking at all different canoe colors that are available, I happened to wander over onto your kayaking page and found this color on your kayaking page. And so in discussion with Brandon, I said, well, what if? Can you guys do this? It's not on your website. And most websites, whatever is on the website is all that's available. And so I asked Brandon, he checked into it, and I was pleased to get the email that, yes, we can do that. Our guys can build it.
Yeah, the guys in our shop are so talented. The people that do all the spray up, the finish work and so on, and the gals that put the boats together, they love making boats like this. And you can see it in the quality and the finish of this.
You can tell the workmanship on every detail is just impeccable. It's, you know, you've got some amazing people building these boats.
Now, you got the Kevlar skid plates on the end, and they do add a lot of ramming speed protection, we like to call it. Was there a particular reason why you wanted the skid plates?
Just to be able to protect it when I'm coming up to an area where I've got to be able to, you know, it's going to be up on the shore. It's going to be hitting the shore. It's going to be hitting gravel or in some cases, some rocks, just to have that additional protection.
Nice. Well, why don't we roll it back down? So, Ted, you also got the carbon detachable yoke, and these are so cool. The weight, everything.
It's like an aircraft part.
Nice.
And so the technology and the lack of weight on long carries, long portages, every ounce can make a difference. And I have several wooden yokes that I could have adapted to this, but the savings in weight and the coolness factor had to have it.
And you got the carbon tech package, so all the parts in this boat are carbon. Reduces the weight a little bit, but the big thing is it looks super cool.
It really does. It really does. I love it. Have put carbon detailing in my Tesla. I like it.
Yeah, nice. Now, the seat system's so cool, the way that we've actually duplicated the shape of the canoe seat. It's got the curve in the back and the angle to the front bar. You ordered the multi-height pod system, and we've talked about the versatility. You wanted to be able to use different positions.
Yeah, absolutely. As I've aged, when I'm on a long paddle, I like to move around. That's really important to me because I get stiff. And so from my whitewater canoeing, I'm used to kneeling. So I like to kneel. That's where my weight distribution it gives me the maximum feel, maximum control. So I like to kneel. But at the same time, I get stiffened up. So I like to be able to move around, go from kneeling to sitting, and so being able then to actually lower it and have a third position is even better.
Yeah, nice. Now the carbon foot bar too. This is really cool. The one I was just out paddling had the kayak foot braces, which is good. It allows you to brace your feet on the sides. But I love the ability to move your feet right in the middle also.
I've always had kayak foot braces on my other canoes, and so this is something new to me, and it rolls into the same aspect as the seat. Being able to move around, finding other positions. If I'm paddling for 3 or 4 hours straight, I need to move, and so this even adds to it more.
Now, Ted, something we didn't talk about, but we went on a good day paddle last night. We just went out for a little paddle here in Oxtongue. But you really wanted a tripping boat, so you're planning to load this for gear and go on. How long a canoe trips are you planning on doing?
We usually go for 3 to 5 days.
Adirondacks, and you told me you're going to Algonquin for the first time.
We'll be back up here in the beginning of June. So I would have picked this up then, but once I found out it was finished earlier than what we thought, I had to come up and make a special trip to pick it up.
And you beat the bugs here.
No bugs, no crowds. It's fantastic.
So what I like, Ted is a lot like me. Like we've paddled, we've even put some marks on the boats last night, and they don't concern him. And that's how I like to treat a boat. They're made to be used. Like boats are made to be used. They're going to get marked and scratches, and you've owned enough boats in your life, it's part of it.
Yep, absolutely. Wear the badges with pride.
Nice. Well, Ted, thanks so much. You're going to have so much fun in this beautiful boat.
Thank you, Bill. It's been great. Thank you.
All right. How about thumbs up? Thumbs up to a Keewaydin 15, Carbon Negra Tech Stream, Indigo bottom. Ted's going to be having some good fun with this boat. Cheers.
Cheers.